Call to order the New Kent County Board of Supervisors, April 11th, 2022. Business meeting to order. Ms. Lockwood, would you lead us in invocation and prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening in a spirit of thanksgiving for the healing that occurs in our community, bringing this page back to us. We wish that all of our folks that are in need of healing receive the same treatment. We pray for all of us on this board to act in the best interest of our community. All these things we lift up in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Lockwood. Ms. Watkins, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Evelyn?
Here.
Mr. Tiller? Here. Ms. Page? Here. Mr. Steers?
Here.
And Mr. Lockwood?
Here.
All right. Good evening. Welcome, everyone, tonight. Welcome to everyone listening this evening. First, I'd like to do a little house cleaning here. And first and foremost, on behalf of the board and all the New Kent County citizens, welcome back, Ms. Page. You do not know how much love and support you had through this community. I know all of us as board members were in touch with each other, praying, and the constituents were very concerned about you. We're more than ecstatic to have you back tonight. And you look about 20 years younger. So God is good, and thank you so much for being tough. And I'll have to tell everybody, when we had our last meeting when she was here, she only missed one meeting. But after the meeting, she called me and she said, "Y'all almost messed up, but you didn't." So she was in the hospital as bad as she was feeling, and I went to visit her. She was still concerned about this county. There's no question that she loves this county more than anything. She loves this board. She loves her constituents. So welcome back, and we're glad to have you back sitting in your seat.
I absolutely thank you to the board, administration staff, the staff, fire and rescue. It took a village with me. I just don't know. It just took a whole village. But I can truly tell you, 9 days in the hospital, and I tried to send some emails out, but and a couple of text messages. So if they look a little weird, I'll do a redo. But I just thank everybody for your prayers, for your phone calls, for your love, for your support. And I'm going to tell you, I know who the healer is. And so I am excited about this meeting. So let's get started.
Thanks. Also, the item 1 tonight, the public hearing, CUP-01-22, the Borrega Solar Farm, has been pulled tonight. They've asked to withdraw that permit tonight, so that we will not be hearing that tonight. That will be coming back as of now at our June regular meeting. So just to let the public know that. And lastly, I would like to let the citizens of the county know that former board member, former real estate agent, former broker of New Kent County, Mr. Jimmy Francisco, passed away this afternoon. He was kind of another icon of the community. He gave a lot back to New Kent, and he's 94 years old, lived a great life. So I ask you to keep Alice-Ann, Jay, his children, in your prayers, and all the Francisco family. All right. With that, let's move on with the agenda. First, we have the consent agenda tonight. Does anybody have any questions or concerns? Comments? If none, I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Page?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented and it be made part of the record.
Thank you, Ms. Page. Any comments? If not, Ms. Watkins, poll the members, please.
Mr. Tiller?
Aye.
Ms. Page?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Mr. Lockwood?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Next, we have something on our agenda that we haven't done since COVID, but it's very exciting for me to have this individual here this evening. It's Jackie Beasley with Flower Forte. We were at an event, some of us last weekend at Cumberland, and for the unveiling of the Harriet Tubman statue, and I saw that you had provided the flowers and the decor around, and it was very beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So welcome tonight, somebody in my district, which I'm extremely excited about to have on a small business close up.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Chairman and board members, for having me tonight. I'm Jackie Beasley, and my business is called Flower Forte. I actually have been in the floral industry for almost 40 years, and I found my property almost 7 years ago in New Kent County, and I began my flower farm as well as a full-service florist 3 years ago. So to summarize what my business does and how it operates is I sell loose-cut flowers, but I do it through the Community Support Agricultural Share Program. And then I am a full-service florist, so I do professional arrangements that are delivered not only to homes, but also to businesses, as well as funeral homes. And events are my specialties, as well as weddings. So my full-service florist runs out of my home, and I sell cut flowers. It actually is run out of my home. But through my agritourism business, I actually create classes that people can come to the farm to enjoy. So I do flower arranging classes, wreath making, flower crowns. I'm also going to try to provide the community with cut your own flowers this year. It's a lot of work, but I am enjoying working outside in that farm. It's very, very rewarding. So most of my advertising that I do is through the Facebook groups. It's through New Kent Neighbors, New Kent Life, but I also have my own page, which is Flower Forte. And if you need flowers, you know who to call, right? So I love the community. I love being here in New Kent, and I just thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you. Does anybody have any comments or question? So you have your website available and just...
Yes. It's www.flowerforte.com.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, the citizens' comment period. Anyone signed up? When I call your name to the podium, I'll ask you to come to the front, state your name, address for the record. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak. First is Larry Dane.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. As you know, I am retiring at the end of the month after 47 years doing water and wastewater. I'm sorry. 7051 Poindexter Road, because I think I've lived there for the last 14 years. I wanted to come here tonight and thank you and thank the board and the citizens of New Kent County for allowing me to spend the last 14 years of my career working for what I think is one of the best counties in the Commonwealth. The board and the entire staff has been totally wonderful to work with and very supportive of every efforts. Having done this for quite a few years, I've seen a lot of other boards. I've watched a lot of other boards. And I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, work together like no other board in this Commonwealth. And I read them from the western part of the state to the eastern part of the state. You, ladies and gentlemen, work to make what's best for New Kent. And that's what made my job enjoyable. I always felt that every one of you had the common sense and the forethought to do what was best for New Kent County. And I just am glad that I was able to be a small part of that. for the last 14 years of my career. And I think the rest of the county, if the rest of the world would operate like New Kent County does in this hyper-partisan times we live in, we'd be in a lot better place. I'd also like to thank Rodney Hathaway as being probably one of the better administrators I've ever worked with. He was very supportive in everything that I did. If I came to him, he talked to me. We worked through anything that we had to do. And the constitutional officers that I worked with in the county was terrific. And this county is just wonderful, and the citizens should be very thankful that you all have served. And lastly, I couldn't go without saying I will miss New Kent's Cecil B. DeMille's Kenny Vaughn back there doing the cameras as he's always done since I've been here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Larry, thank you for your service. I mean, you run that department top notch. And when you came here from Gloucester, I guess I was probably the only board member that was here when we first hired you. And you had a lot of turmoil in Gloucester. There's no question about that. And we were lucky to get you. And you've really taken that department leaps and bounds to where it was. And that's one department where you don't hear anything about. And I think our job is to hire good people like you. And I think I can speak on behalf of the board. We don't micromanage, and we want you to do your job, and you've done it exceptional, and we're very proud to have you. And congratulations, and best in your retirement. Next is the Residency Administrator's Report. Oh, I'm sorry. I got it, Larry. Okay. I'm sorry. I know. Pam Hastings.
Hello, I'm a tech dinosaur. So my husband fixed this for me to hit start so that I know how much time I have exactly. Oh, okay. But I want to be able to see because I have so much to fit in. Okay. I'm Pam Hastings, and I just want to say that I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak to you all. My husband and I have a situation that's affecting our life on a daily basis in a very great way. We moved here from Northern Virginia in July. We actually bought and closed on our home in May and made many improvements during that 2-month period. It's on a gravel road with 7 houses on the road, so even though it has a very secluded feel to it, it's actually a residential area. We love absolutely everything about New Kent County, with the exception of the situation that has really ruined life for us on a daily basis. I also want to say we're only here talking to you under the advisement of Scott Rennick, who we're going to court with on May 4th about this situation that we've been dealing with for 8 months. During the 2-month period that we were working on the house, but that we haven't moved here yet, we heard a continual howling, whining, screeching, barking, coming from a commercial-sized kennel that's actually a private kennel, but it houses no less than 11 dogs. And this was told to us by the owner, which I'll get into in a little bit. We were put in touch with Sheriff Joe McLaughlin, who I want to emphasize was nothing but polite, kind, and professional with us in every way. We were in touch with him before we moved here, hoping to kind of find out what the situation was. We didn't come to any understanding. He was very helpful to us, but we just figured, okay, we're going to have to deal with this when we move there. This kennel is totally surrounded by the woods, so we didn't see this. It is no less than 50 to 70 yards from our home and property. So fast forward to when we moved in. The movers, when they moved us in, they told us, this is a beautiful home, Mr. and Mrs. Hastings, but we smell nothing but dog crap, except they used a different word that I won't use. I'm a Christian, which, by the way, I appreciated so much from the way you opened your meeting tonight. Also, when we moved in, the day we moved in, the other neighbors walked up, and the first thing they said to us is, what do you think of the dogs? How about the sound? How about the smell? We said, well, has anybody done anything about it? And without fail, every neighbor said, you won't get anywhere. There's a family relationship there with the sheriff and the owners of this kennel. Please understand, we know nothing. We're telling you what is told, and he was nothing but totally professional and kind to us in every way we spoke with him. So finally, after, by the way, Sheriff Joe, he told us you need to start calling animal control officers. So they came out to our home 2 or 3 times. They advised us to go to court, to go file a complaint at the magistrate. We've never done that. We're not court people. We've never had problems. Am I done already? Oh, okay. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, Tom. Anyway, so we went to when I shared our complaint with the magistrate, she said, well, welcome to New Kent. We're so sorry this is what you're dealing with.
Your time, you don't mind wrapping up real quick.
What do I do with this? It's stop. I don't know what I'm doing.
Your time's up.
That's my time is up?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
I was going to tell you about a meeting we had at our kitchen.
I'll give you 30 seconds.
Okay. We didn't want to go to court. We went and we invited the owners to sit around our kitchen table. We poured coffee for them, iced tea. We pleaded our case. We said the stench, not only the noise, there's a stench issue. When literally from May till October, when you walk out our front door, we're hit in the face with dog feces. Okay. We're talking about 11 dogs, 2 piles of defecation a day, 22 piles, and he told my husband he spreads it on the ground.
Thank you.
You need to help me.
Yeah. Tom Hastings. Could you state your address for the record?
1901 Ellison Court.
Thank you.
So I'll Pam's the more articulate person in the group, but I'll try to keep it brief and to the point. There's a lot of history and a lot of background. We've been there less than a year. I just want to give you a quick idea of what we're talking about here. I'm get just a noise issue here. If I can.
While he's looking that up, can I ask, what is your property zoned?
Let's say again.
What is your property zoned?
Agriculture, I'm sure.
Agriculture?
A1.
Yes.
A1?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just get to the heart of the matter since time goes quick. What we're urging you all to do, we're adjudicating the situation with the court, but what we'd like you to do is consider taking a fresh look at the ordinances regarding outdoor kennels in the county, and noise ordinance is not sufficient when it's 11 dogs, 50 yards from your property. The smell is a big issue. It's not currently covered. What we think would be nice as new residents of the county would be to take a look at maybe what surrounding counties do and consider, look at the current ordinance and consider if there's maybe some things that could be done to help in a case where there's 11 dogs that make that kind of noise and create that kind of smell that close to residences. So yeah, we have 5 acres. The owners of the dogs will have less than 3. So there's, in my mind, as you consider outdoor kennel situation, perhaps, being a larger number of acres would be more useful, or more adequate, so it wouldn't be a nuisance or a bother to the neighbors. So those are the kinds of things that I would ask you to take a look at, perhaps. Mr. Hathaway is familiar with our situation. We've spoken to him, and he's actually been out there and taken a look at the situation. And as I said, we're going to take care of it with the courts, but I don't think right now that the ordinances are adequate as they deal with this situation in the county, and I would just urge you to take a look at what exists and perhaps consider some alterations to that.
Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you.
We definitely can take a look at that, but as far as commenting on that, since that is a court case, we shouldn't make any comments on that. Next is Daniel Stewart.
Good evening. Thank you, Board of Supervisors. My name is Dana Stewart, 8139 Airport Road. Couple topics. I read in the daily press over from West Point about down there in 60 by the VCU 300 home small village thing. I moved here 10 years ago. I got stationed here from the military. I moved here because it was country, rural. You guys and whoever approves, you guys are getting too many housing developments. I understand there's a concept. We need houses, we need people for certain business to come. But when you're all building down there in bottom of the bridge area, I mean, there's so many housing areas that are huge and being built. That right there, I don't think, I mean, the schools, I mean, you're building one down in Clinton, elementary, but do we got middle school, enough for the middle school here and high school to house everyone that is currently coming in, and plus the ones that are still on board of being built? And then if that does, and you know, the roads, I mean, we got enough traffic, that's just even more. So I don't know who's all in to play anything, but I do have that concern that we don't need more, especially that big. And then broadband, I don't know where we're at. I've seen some discussion here and there, but I know some people that can't have internet or cable or satellite because where they're at, where's the county on that? And then, again, back with the schools, you know, I know we're building that new one, but all this growth, are we going to have all that and all the other infrastructure that we're going to need for all this growth that we're having? Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jill Watson.
Special thanks to Rodney and Wanda for all your help in me getting here. Jill Watson, 9142 Mirror Lake Lane. I'm excited and grateful to be here. Thank you. I'm here to provide awareness and education and start the conversation to the exponential risks of 5G technology. Today's materials are an introduction that RF, radio frequency radiation, is a biohazard to every living thing: humans, animals, insects, and plants. Initially, I did not give much credence to the 5G material I saw surfacing. However, over the months, it became more credible and relevant. In March, I really started to dig in and reach out after learning about an affected population of adults with radiation sensitivity having to live off grid because of the effects to their bodies and to their minds. More alarmingly, I learned how radiation has been and is affecting children. Children's skulls are thinner and the protective myelin around their brains is not fully developed, leaving them the most vulnerable to radiation. Schools in the US are full of wireless technology and devices, as are our homes and communities now. Other countries have taken action to reduce or ban Wi-Fi in schools and preschools. As cited by the Children's Health Defense Historic Win in 2020, the court cited numerous instances of the FCC's failure to respond to: 1, evidence that exposure to RF radiation at levels below current limits may cause negative health effects; 2, to comments about environmental harms; 3, to the inadequacy of testing procedures, particularly related to children; and 4, to the implications of technological developments that have occurred since 1996. I work from home and do not have fiber optics as an option and have had to go with VoIP. My husband and I are now abruptly alert to the health risks we've brought right into our own home and are actively seeking remedies. In closing, I would like to ask the board to thoughtfully review the timeline that dates back to studies from 1932. This is not just a 5G issue. I'm aghast at what I've just learned over the last month. The information and data are overwhelming. I understand the board potentially has an interest in this topic becoming a future agenda item. I will email the board members interactive URLs for the timeline source materials. I would like the opportunity for continued follow-up. Please consider the possible next steps on handout 2. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, James Vaughn.
I'm James Vaught. I live at 3956 Moores Lane. If you got these papers, we've had some issues with traffic on Moores Lane, and I talked to VDOT, and they have this thing called traffic calming. And after I read that, I guess I'm supposed to come here and shake you guys down to buy signs to put on the street. We don't want signs. I'm known as the dog walker in that neighborhood. What I provided you is 20 addresses out of 21 that think we should lower the speed limit to 15 miles an hour. VDOT says no. So when I leave here, my next step is to talk to the governor, because it's a state, if that's true, that's a state thing that has to be changed. We don't want signs that increase the fine by $200. The affidavits that are there aren't signed because the originals were with Patricia, who called the police on these instances, and she said she texted them to the deputy it was in charge. So all I have is the copies I made her before they were signed. I can get the signatures if anybody wants them. But somehow I have a problem with some guy sitting up in Ashland, Virginia, that knows more about the traffic on Moores Lane than the 21 residents that live there. My thing is, if we follow VDOT's, if this is true, we follow their plan, we bring a police cruiser, a fire truck, and an ambulance through, because that's where their concern is emergency vehicles. We'll let them see if they can do 25 mile an hour through that neighborhood. It can't be done, not safely. Moores Lane is a curve. It's not a straight shot. The road drops off at the end where it goes around the corners. There's cars parked. 20 of 21 neighbors would like to see the speed limit reduced to 15 miles an hour. But I'm not here to shake you guys down for any signs. I'll go to the governor next, but I just want to make y'all aware. If you need signatures, or if you need the actual voicemail from Mr. Fraser up in Petersburg, the Apple interpretation isn't the best. I have that on my phone. Anybody wants to listen to it. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lastly is Holly Matthews.
Holly Matthews, 3400 Teakwood Court in Quinton. Thank you all for letting us speak here tonight. I don't have anything prepared. I used to come speak to you all quite regularly, and following a bad accident, I haven't gotten out much. I'm here in support of what Jill Watson had to say. I'm very concerned about 5G. Probably we're all kind of late on the bandwagon for that. I'm probably like most people, trust our government, trust that they'll put stuff out there that's going to be safe. I've lost that trust drastically. The last 2 years has shown us a lot of reasons to not have that trust. So I'm imploring you as kind of the protectors of this county. I know when I used to speak with you all before, you were always interested in New Kit being the best, better and above others, prettier than others, safer than others, being something different. I hope you still stand for those values. I hope you will look into this 5G. We don't have to have it, okay? We don't have to have 5G to live. And if it's going to be hazardous, I think something should be done. Anybody can stop it at any time in certain places. So I implore you to take a look. Jill went through a lot of work to get that information together for you. And so I hope you'll take a chance to take a look at everything she got and seek out and get answers. And I think it is an understanding that there might be another meeting regarding this. I don't know, but thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Mr. Chair. if I
Ms.
may,
Lockwood, yes, sir.
I just wanted to remind folks that in New Kent, we are not going to be looking at 5G for broadband service. We are on a plan for fiber to the home. We can't control what other agencies and entities might do along interstate or something along those lines. But as far as broadband service in the county, it will be fiber to the home. It will not be 5G. So just maybe give you a little peace of mind there. We don't have any control over what Verizon might do or people choosing to use 5G for their own service in their own homes. But as far as the county service that we're going to be working on, it is fiber to the home. So hopefully that'll give you a little bit of peace anyway.
Thank you, Ms. Lockwood. You called, I can't let you speak, sorry. Anybody else? Next is the Residency Administrator's Report.
Good evening, Mr. Hathaway, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Mark Harlow. I'm from VDOT. I'll be giving the road report tonight. Hopefully you guys have had the opportunity to go over our report. Our maintenance crews continue to work on pavement repairs, shoulder work, drainage to include ditching, pipe replacement, pipe cleaning, tree removal, sign repairs, and litter pickup. You may have noticed some more extensive drainage work going on Stage Road, Richardson, Triangle, and Holly Fork. They've been doing a lot of pipe replacements and some heavy ditching in those areas. This past month, we received 59 work requests. We've completed 39 of those. We also had 7 after-hours emergency call-outs that came up with our maintenance crews. The Smart Scale project on 155 has begun. The trenching has been completed. In the next couple of weeks, we should see some milling and some repaving where they'll start putting the top coat on. So that's coming within the next couple of weeks. Route 60, the plant mix resurfacing started today. They're actually out saw cutting Route 60, getting it ready for patchwork prior to the repaving. So I talked to the construction manager. He said looking at a completion of maybe mid-July, that should be completely redone. The Route 600 bridge work on Holly Fork Road, we were supposed to get the steel in this week, so hopefully we'll get that in. As soon as we get that steel in, we're going to go to work. So we'll give you guys like a 2-week ahead schedule and let you know when we're coming out there to close that down. As far as the gentleman's comments earlier about the speed limit, those do have to go to our traffic engineering department at central office. So, and if they've done that, I'll get with Philip Fraser. I'll get your information and get back with you.
I can give you that.
Okay.
That's on my phone.
You're going to get together.
Yeah, we'll get together after this. Okay. So I just wanted to address that while we were here. And that's about all I have. If you guys have anything for me.
Mr. Steers?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The project that you're doing on 155 North with 1 foot milling on each side, and then you're going to come back and repave over the whole road, right?
Yes.
And this fall, this fall sometime, you have on your schedule to finally repave Rockahawk Road.
Yes.
And I have asked Marshall, and I'm going to ask you, why can't you guys do the same thing on that road, 1 foot on either side? You're only talking about 2.5 to 3 miles to do the whole road, from 60 around Rockahawk to Waterside, and widen that road for those big motorhomes and campers coming through there while you're out there doing the work.
Right. It's probably a right-of-way thing. I'll have to look into it to see. I'm not sure. Is Rockahawk 30 feet or 40 foot? I don't have that off the top of my head.
I
But,
guarantee you people out there will give you half an acre of land.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
Don't shove it up on right away.
Well, I wish it was that easy.
I know,
You know,
they
but it's
will
not.
certainly give you right away to come through there to do that. But would
Yeah.
you look into that before you go out there?
Yes, sir.
And I know Marshall went and said, well, maybe we can come back at a later date and do that. And to me, that just doesn't make sense.
Right.
But
I'll look into it and get back with you.
okay, I appreciate it.
Yep.
That's it.
Mr. Tiller?
Yes, really glad to see the traffic cones on Route 60 this morning when I pulled out. And that's going to go from the Towing substation.
Yes,
to the
it's
Henrico County, to the-
right at that joint, all the way to the joint right at the Henrico County line.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
It's been a long time coming.
Mr. Lockwood?
I just want to thank you guys for the work that you have been doing out there in Paramsville. I did have one note on Richardson. If you're coming from Holly Forks towards Route 30, that first pipe that you encounter, just driveway crossing, the water is still overflowing the road when it hits that pipe. They got too much water coming down for that pipe to handle when you get even just a decent rain.
Okay.
And this is after the ditch work's been done. It made a huge difference, but that pipe just can't handle that amount of water coming off the field and down the road. So
Okay. Yep,
might
we'll
have
take
to
a look.
increase that one. And again, thank you for the work you're doing. I would like to talk to y'all at some point before we close the dam about Phil Bates Road, because that's a private road and people are going to use it if they're allowed to. And I'm concerned it's a small wooden bridge. It's not designed to handle anything more than a few cars a day.
Right.
So we may have to close that as well, but I'd like to get your opinion on that before we move forward with
Okay.
actually closing. So, thank
Yep.
you.
Ms. Page?
Just want to take the opportunity to thank you for the work you're doing and reconfirm that Cooks Mill Road will be, that asphalt will be completed, I was told in the spring.
They just.
Is that like now? Like
That's like summer. Yeah.
spring is like summer now.
Spring, yeah.
Okay, I got you.
We're coming.
All right. Well, I haven't been on stage to Roper's Church, but I promise you that it'll be on my visit this week. And I spoke with Mr. Allgood about a couple other projects with speed limits and all of that. So that's all I have. And just thank you for all that you're doing.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Page.
The tree trimming on dispatch, is that Dominion or is that you guys?
Yeah. Yeah. We don't. I don't know of any scheduled with us, but they may have went in and done some. But
Well, since you're up here, I'll before I forget, I'll ask Mr. Hathaway to contact Dominion on Matoaka Glen Road off of Dispatch. When they were trimming those trees, they just fixed that entrance there to the gate. And that doesn't have anything to do with you, but my memory's not as good as it used to.
I got you.
If you could contact them, please, Mr. Hathaway, and see if they can get that.
One more thing.
Mhm.
It's almost grass cutting season, and I know we get 3 a year.
Yes, ma'am.
But my question becomes, are they going to pick up the trash before they cut the grass?
Yes, ma'am.
And they do realize that there's a code of Virginia about grass cutting and grass clippings in the road.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I am a biker, and so I got to look out for all my biking friends.
I am as well.
Okay, so I just want to
I
make sure we do
understand.
that. Thank you.
All right.
All right, thanks for coming this evening.
All right, bud. Thank y'all.
So it's a little early before we start public hearings. Let's go to staff reports. Mr. Hathaway, are there any staff reports tonight?
No, sir.
Any other business? I I'm sorry. Any other business? All right, let's go to appointments delegated by district. Does anybody have any appointments delegated by district? Appointments not delegated by district? I do think we have one person. Oh. Mr. Steers, Laura Clark has to be reappointed. It's not by district, so.
I'm sorry. Yes, I move to appoint Laura Clark as an at-large representative to the Clean County Committee to serve a 4-year term beginning January 1, 2022 and ending December 31, 2025. On the CDA, Steve Miles.
CDA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it not this? Why is that not this?
It's important to be made by the person sitting in your seat, but it doesn't have to be a person in your district. So apparently at some point,
Where is it?
you guys find a swap.
Okay. Either way, I move to appoint L. Stephen Miles as a representative to the Farms of New Kent CDA Board to serve a 4-year term beginning January 1, 2022, ending December 31, 2025. I'll let somebody else appoint those. I have my reason.
All right, is there any other appointments? If not, Ms. Watkins, we poll the members.
Ms. Page? Aye. Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Mr. Lockwood?
Aye.
Mr. Tiller?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Regional boards and commissions. If there are none, we'll go to elected officials reports. Mrs. Steers?
I have nothing. Thank you.
Mr. Tiller?
No, sir.
Mr. Lockwood?
I just wanted to thank Mr. Poindexter for the event that occurred at Cumberland last weekend. The Harriet Tubman bronze that was displayed or revealed, unveiled, was just a beautiful presentation. The flowers, of course, were beautiful, as you stated earlier, but it was a very, very nice community engagement that brought out clergy and all kinds of folks of different walks of life, and I think it was just a beautiful testament to history and healing. So I just wanted to express that.
Thank you, Ms. Lockwood. I totally agree. Ms. Page?
Yes. New Kent is having a employment and volunteer expo. It's going to be at the New Kent High School, and it's April the 21st from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock. And just wanted you to know that one of the counselors, Ms. Spiak, said that they will have a total of 55 businesses/entities at this fair. And so often we have multiple employment opportunities with the county. And I am often approached that we can't get a job with the county. Well, guess what? We got a ton of jobs with the county. And so I would encourage, please, ma'am, please, sir, if you would spread the word, to those that live in the county and out of the county that we will be having not only for employment but volunteer opportunities on April the 21st at the high school from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock. And so I believe this is the first job fair we've had of this sort. And so I am absolutely excited about the turnout, and I'm going to be around there just looking. So I ask that everybody come out. The other thing is I cannot say enough my gratitude for our citizens and the board and the staff of the county for your prayers and your support during my 9-day hospital stay. I thought I drank enough water, but I was in there for extreme dehydration, and I am going to absolutely do better. I promise you that. You will not have to tell me this one again. And so, but I do thank you for your concern and the phone calls and the visits. And I love the visits now, I'm going to tell you. And then lastly, our retired board member, Mr. Jimmy Burrell, we as the board expressed our sincere condolences in the passing of his sister, Joyce Turbin. And Mr. Chair, that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Page. Again, glad you're back. A couple things. At 12 o'clock on April 18th, there will be a memorial service for Strand Trout at New Kent High School. Like I said, he had passed away about a month ago, so they're doing a memorial service. I would like to thank Bob Jeremiah and Alan Files for helping organize this service and working with Strand's brother to get this done. As everybody knows, Strand was a interesting individual, no question about that. He cared a lot for New Kent, and I think Alan and Bob would want everybody to know this, that Strand donated 60% of his estate to the New Kent Education Foundation. And that just shows you his love and support that he had for New Kent. So I invite everybody out there to express their condolences to Strand. Everybody's been calling Mr. New Kent over the last 3 or 4 weeks, which Strand was. If you looked at the articles in the paper, I mean, what he did, I don't know how he had time to join all those organizations and get back to the county. And with that, the New Kent Education Foundation on May 7th is holding Strides for School at Colonial Downs. It's a fundraiser for the Education Foundation where they give the money back to grants for the students and scholarships. You do not have to be a runner to come out and join this. Come out and support it. You can walk. You can go on the New Kent Education webpage, and I ask you please to sign up and join and support that good cause. And with that, that's all I have. And we have about 12 minutes before we can do public hearing, so we'll take a recess until 7 o'clock.
Mr. Sock, there should be. Thank you so much. See how easy I am today? How easy I am.
If I had more.
Okay, thank you.
to that.
Seven o'clock, I'll call the meeting back to order. Again, public hearing CUP-01-22, Borrego Solar has been pulled this evening and is proposed to be on the agenda in June at our regular meeting. Item 2, public hearing equalized tax levy for fiscal year 2023. Mr. Hathaway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Before you is a public hearing on the equalized tax levy for fiscal year 2023. Section 58.1-3321 of the Code of Virginia states that when any reassessment of real property by a county, city, or town results in an increase of 1% or more in the total real property tax levied, such county, city, or town shall reduce its rate or levy for the forthcoming tax year so as to cause such rate of levy to produce no more than 101% of the previous year's real estate property tax levies. As you are aware, fiscal year 2022 is a reassessment year, and we have seen significant increases in real estate values throughout the county. The total assessed value of real properties exceeds last year's total assessed value of real property by an average of 19.27%. Therefore, the equalized tax levy will be reduced from its current rate of 79 cents per $100 of assessed value to 66 cents per $100 of assessed value. The purpose of this evening's public hearing is to provide an opportunity for public comment on the county's equalized tax rate of 66 cents per $100 of assessed value. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hathaway. Now I'll open the public hearing. Is anyone signed up? No one signed up. I'll close the public hearing. Any board members have any comments or questions for Mr. Hathaway? We cannot take any action on this tonight. This is just for public hearing. Next public hearing tonight, proposed tax levies for fiscal year 2023. Mr. Hathaway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This public hearing is to receive comments from the public on the proposed tax rates for our FY23 budget, which will begin on July 1 of this year. Last month, I presented my budget recommendation and proposed a 69-cent real estate tax rate, still making New Kent one of the lowest tax rates in the region. Although the proposed tax rate is 10 cents lower than our previous rate of 79 cents, the proposed rate, it would be a 3-cent increase because of our equalized rate of 66 cents. No change was proposed to the personal property tax, although staff is looking into breaking out a tax for RVs and boats, which we hope to provide to you soon. And breaking out a lower tax rate for RVs and boats. No changes are proposed to the tangible personal property rate, the airplane tax and the machinery and tools tax, which I'll add, the machinery and tools tax is amongst the lowest in the state. Yes. There is a 5-cent reduction proposed in the Bottoms Bridge Sewer Water District ad valorem. The current rate is 10 cents, and it would be reduced to 5 cents. Section 58.1-3321 of the Code of Virginia states that a governing body shall not hold a public hearing at the same time as the annual budget hearing to increase or reduce its real estate rate. Therefore, we are conducting our public hearing this evening, and we have scheduled to actually do the public hearing on the budget at your next month's meeting in May. This time I'll be happy to answer any questions.
First, I'll open the public hearing. Has anyone signed up? No one signed up. I'll close the public hearing. Any comments or from Mr. Hathaway? Mr. Hathaway, I know we did talk about the campers and boats, looking at that tax rate, which I'm glad we're going to look at, but I think it's some special, the General Assembly put out some type of special tax rate that we can decrease the personal property tax on vehicles this year. We can pull that to the side when I was talking with the commissioners. I would ask you to look at maybe doing a lower rate for vehicles, because people do have to get back and forth to work every day in a vehicle. Everybody drives that. I just feel like maybe we might get a little bigger bang for our buck. Just look at people that, with the gas increases and everything now. If we could look at that as well as while we're looking into the boats
Sure.
and the campers, if the board's okay with that.
I got a question. You're saying reducing the rate on cars as opposed to the boats and the campers, or in addition to boats and campers?
Well, I just leaving it open. A boat and a camper is kind of a luxury, the way I see it, and people have to get back and forth to work. And I just feel like we do need to if we can lower the personal property on the vehicles a little bit, because everybody's seen what a used car has brought this year. It's crazy what cars are being assessed for. And I'm assuming, I don't know this for sure, that we're going to have a lot more money on the personal property side on vehicles this year. And I think that's why the General Assembly has set that aside, was allowing local governments to lower the rate specifically on vehicles only. It's my understanding. I could be totally wrong.
No, I agree. We do have the ability to lower the rate on vehicles only. And we're still waiting for the final personal property tax.
And I know we can't do anything until we have to find that out. Exactly. Yes, sir. Yeah. I totally agree with that. But I was just saying, when we get that number, just something, if the board's in agreement, just to look at all that stuff together.
Okay. Another question.
Yes, sir.
If we do go with the automobile rate or the boats or the campers, can we get an idea, like in increments, bringing the price down, how it's going to affect how much we'll be losing?
Sure. Once we get the final numbers from the Commissioner of Revenue's office, we'll be able to determine the impact of lowering the vehicle rates and boats and RVs as well. Right now, we can estimate that, but we'll have a much better number once we get those final numbers.
It might be interesting I know this isn't really required or anything, but it might be interesting to see what an equalized rate on personal property tax would be. To see, based on the value of vehicles and all that have gone up, to see how that kind of equalizes back to.
I feel it would be going
No,
down.
I think the commissioner's going to have those figures for us. It's my understanding when I'm speaking with her. Anyone else?
And it's my understanding also, we have not locked in on the 69 cents either, right?
We just cannot go any higher.
No. By advertising the 69, right, we cannot go higher, but we can.
But I know everybody's listening, so I just want to know we haven't locked in on 69 either.
No, and it's our goal too. Once we finalize our numbers, hopefully that will be within this week. At your work session, I'll be in a position to present a revised budget recommendation to you.
And it's amazing that when the reassessments came out, the outroar from the community, and then tonight at a public hearing, no one's here. It shows you that somebody's doing their job, I think, right?
Well, I will say it, and I want to thank our Mrs. Laura. I don't want to get her name wrong. But I want to thank her for the working with our office, definitely, and our public relations specialist, Krista. I really think it helped by getting information out on our social media and website. And we did get a lot of questions, but you know how this process is. We usually get not a lot of turnout for these public hearings. But.
Thank you.
All right. Our last public hearing this evening, proposed amendments to Appendix A, fees of the New Kent County Code. Mr. Hathaway.
Thank you. Each year during our budget process, I direct departments to look at their fees within their departments to ensure that we're capturing the cost of providing those services that they provide, and also to ensure that they're consistent with the market and with other localities as well. So my department heads have done that, and I'm sorry, I'm pulling that up. And there are some fee changes that are proposed for next fiscal year. The first starting with the airport, our tie-down fee and our aircraft staging fee, small increases for those two fees at the airport. And basically that is just looking at what other small airports are charging for that same service and being consistent with that. Building development, there's a reinspection fee increase from $55 to $75. That's when our inspectors have to go back out and inspect things that have failed. There's also a new fee proposed, a second offense reinspection fee. That's if you've been failed and we've gone back out and it didn't pass and we have to go back out again to inspect something, where that takes county resources, and we are proposing a new fee for that as well. Land development, environmental, you'll see single-family erosion and sediment control fee increasing by $10, the base fee. And as we looked at what other communities are charging for similar services, we really determined that our commercial fees are very, very low compared to other communities. So even with the proposed increases here, we're still below our neighboring communities as far as commercial fees, which is a good thing. But we are proposing to increase those to bring it a little closer to the market. And then fire and rescue, basic life support fee is proposed to increase from $497 to $550, and advanced life support to $800 to $1,000. These fees and charges are really is what the insurance companies will pay, and that fee changes annually. That's why annually we've been before you changing this fee, but this is what the insurance providers have told us that they would pay for these services. And there is a new proposed fee by the fire department for mobile food preparation vehicles, which is becoming very, very popular now, food carts across the county. And we want to ensure, and we want them in our county, but we want to ensure that they're operating safely and that our fire marshal, fire staff has the opportunity to inspect them to ensure that they do operate safely. So we do have a small inspection fee associated with that. It's an annual fee of $25. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Would that be for each food truck?
It's whoever's registered as a business owner here in the county with food truck.
So if it's somebody outside of the county that comes in, that
has to be done in their county wherever they are registered.
So, okay. And I guess we have no way of knowing about sales tax with these food trucks when people buy food.
If they're selling food in New Kent County, they should have a business license and should be paying a business tax. And they should be reporting the sales as part of the business tax process. Now, as you know, food vendors move from county to county, and it's really very difficult to keep track of, but we do try.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hathaway. I'll open the public hearing. No one signed up, as Mrs. Steer said. Somebody's doing a good job. All right, I'll close the public hearing. Anybody have anything else for Mr. Hathaway? All right. Thank you, Mr. Hathaway and staff for putting that together. We still have a little bit of work to do before the budget wraps up. We don't have any more items on the agenda this evening. Does any other board members have anything?
You're not gonna make me delay this meeting. Oh, no. I'm over here adjourned.
Before we adjourn, the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Supervisors will be held at 6 p.m. on Monday, May 9th, 2022, and the next work session at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, April 27th, 2022, both in the boardroom of the County Administration Building. Ms. Page has a motion for adjournment. Ms. Watkins, will you poll the members?
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Mr. Lockwood?
Aye.
Mr. Tiller?
Aye.
Ms. Page? Aye. And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Good evening.
I know. No, and I said, Mr. Tiller.